Hey everyone, in this video we will learn how to actually solve our simultaneous equations using the graphing calculator and the scientific calculator. In the H1 and H2 math syllabus, you're allowed to actually use your calculators to solve simultaneous equations. Unfortunately for the A math students, you have to solve them by hand, alright? However, the good thing is that you can actually use your scientific calculator to actually check your answers. Alright, so let us start off with the scientific calculator. I have a Casio brand FX96SG Plus, and I don't own the other brands like Sharp or whatever. However, is the function to get to the simultaneous equation solver would be the same, right? It should be of a similar style. So for the Casio calculators, you go to mode and then go to equation. Alright, then from here, right, you notice you have anx plus bny equals to cn, and anx plus bny plus cnz equals to dn. And these two are basically your simultaneous equations, right? You notice you have x and y, then you have x, y, z. Alright, so the first one is basically your two variable two equation. The second one is basically your three variable three equations. Alright, for the A math syllabus, you're only required to solve two equation, two variables. So let's head over to by clicking on one. Then we have a kind of a matrix form, but it's basically your x and y, and then your output. So the first column A is basically your x. The second column B will basically be your y. The last column C is basically the number. So let's say you have 6x plus 4x equals to 3. So what we do is click on 6 equals 4 equals 3. So this is basically 6x plus 4y equals to 3. Let's say your next equation is negative 2x plus 4y. So I have negative 2, 4y, sorry, that's 7, equals to, let's say, 8. So there we have it. Just click on equals and then we get the answer, s equals to minus 5 over 8. To see the value of y, we click down to get 27 over 16. So from here, right, if you want to exit this mode, just click on Shift, Clear, All, and then we are good to go. Alright, so this is how you solve simultaneous equations using the scientific calculator. Now we move on to the graphing calculator for those, fortunate students, for our H1, H2 math students. Just simply turn on your GC. Now we can go to Apps, alright? Then hover your finger around 4 to go to PLY Simultaneous 2. So basically, Poly Simultaneous 2. Then put your thumb at 2 because you're going to be going to the simultaneous equation solver. If you're going to find the polynomial root finder, hover your finger to 1. Then from here, you see this screen, alright? Basically the number of equations and the number of unknowns, which is basically the number of variables. So if you have 4 equations, 3 variables, you simply have 4 equations here, then put it at 3 unknowns. If you have 5 equations and 2 unknowns, then 5 equations, then 2 unknowns, alright? But mainly you'll be dealing with 3 equations and 3 unknowns, so let's take it with this. I'm using the TI-84 Plus C Silver Edition, so it's an old model. So because of that, all my simultaneous equations will be solved in the matrix form. For the TI-84 Plus CE Edition, you get to actually use, you have a screen that has X, Y, and Z, and a plus minus that you can actually change for your 3 variable 3 equation and your 2 variable 2 equation. However, for let's say you have 4 equations, 4 variables, then even the newer models will go back to the matrix form. So it's actually good to understand the matrix form, where it's actually the same, really. So similar to your scientific calculator, right? Your left is basically your x, your middle. Your next column is basically your y. Your next column is basically your z. Then lastly is your output. So let's say I have an equation 8x plus 5y plus 6z equals to 9. So I have 8, 5, 6, and 9. Do note that every time you key in a value, you have to click on the enter sign. Now the other part is, let's say you want to add a negative value inside. Let's say your equation is negative 3x, alright? You cannot use the minus sign here, right? This is a minus sign, it's an operator. Instead, you have to use this negative sign down here. So this is your negative 3 sign. If you try to use the minus 3 sign, right? If you try to use this sign, you get an error, alright? So let me just key in some random values. And then from here, I'll click on solve and I'll get these, terrible numbers. I just randomly key in values. So then from here, right, you get the exact values, all right? Then you can then click on, if you don't like fractions or if you want to round out your numbers, you just click on F to D, basically fractions to decimals. If you are in decimals and you want exact values, you can get back at your fractions, all right? Do know that sometimes you won't be able to actually get the exact values. You probably get a lot more decimals than you think, okay? If you want to go back to the system, let's say you have made some mistake in your keying of the values, simply click on system, then edit the value accordingly. If you want to solve another simultaneous equations, just click on clear and you're back here. Otherwise, you can go back to your main menu click on 2, and then you will then, solve from here. All right. To exit this mode, just simply go to quit, and then quit, or you can press the 6. All right. So there we have it, solving simultaneous equations using our graphing calculator and our scientific calculator.